call the member for Wallandilly.
Thank you. My question's to the Premier. Given that the damaging and short-sighted plans to raise the Warragamba Dam Wall have been shelved, will you today rule out the raising of the dam wall? Premier, will you also confirm there are no plans to raise the wall, and will you outline the measures your government will take to mitigate the risk of future governments wanting to damage my electorate for the benefit of some land developers downstream?
Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I thank her for her question. I welcome her to the House. It was a wonderful inaugural speech last week. Welcome to the chamber. Mr. Speaker, as members would be aware, the original cost of raising Warragamba Dam Wall was estimated to be $690 million when it was first proposed by the former Premier, Mike Baird. The estimated cost today is $2 billion for construction costs, and then with biodiversity offsets, it's an additional $1 billion. We think it could be higher than that, but at the end of the day, the budget for such a massive project is huge for the New South Wales taxpayer. Now, it will surprise no one in this chamber that not a dollar was set aside in relation to this project, despite the fact that it had been repeatedly promised by the previous government. And I need to confirm to the House and I confirm to the member that we will not be progressing with raising Warragamba Dam Wall by 14 metres. Not at all. Well, the member for Hawkesbury says shame on us. She won't say to the House that 45% of floodwaters in that region come from tributaries and rivers not over the top of Warragamba Dam. Won't say that. Nor will she divulge to the House that the previous government had a plan to double the population on the floodplain. Double the population on the floodplain. So basically doubling the population on the floodplain and Labor's reasonable plans in relation to urban consolidation, they're against both. They're against both at the end of the day. And I'll say this, I thought it was interesting to hear the former Minister for the Environment in the election campaign. He's now the Shadow Minister for Health. And he said in 2019 to the ABC, Matt was on the ABC, and he said, by the time you pay for offsets for the damage done because of the raising of the wall, the cost to offset it, it will not make sense. The business case will not stack up. Fair enough. Fair enough. The only problem is a couple of months later, he went on to say, Mr. Speaker, if it's a choice between water lapping in people's living rooms or water lapping in the national park, I say put people before plants. What a man of principle he is, Mr. Speaker. And then he went on to say, I've been a fierce advocate for our environment. I'll continue to be a fierce advocate for our environment. But notwithstanding the fact that, as the honourable member would be aware, and the member for Wallandilly would be aware, that as a result of going ahead with raising the Warragamba Dam Wall, it would inundate 4,700 hectares of World Heritage protected Blue Mountains National Park, and it would inundate 1,200 Aboriginal sites and artefacts. 1,200 as a result of this project. Added to the fact that there's no money in the budget for it at all.
Premier, the member for Wallandilly has risen, seeking additional information.
Look, the bottom line here is,
2 minutes is granted.
The bottom line here, Mr. Speaker, is despite the protestations of the member for Hawkesbury, not $1 and not one initiative was put into Warragamba Dam Wall in 12 years of the previous government. We're being honest about our intentions in relation to this wall. We will not build it. And we'll report to the House of any geotechnical risks associated with the wall and take action when it comes about. But I want to say to the House, Mr. Speaker, the 14-metre Warragamba Dam Wall that would cost $3 billion and inundate the Blue Mountains National Park will not go ahead under a Labor government.